Alright, what is going on everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've actually got a clip from the CHB podcast, which I want to kind of show to you guys, but also kind of make an announcement before this clip starts, that I actually will be starting up a brand new channel where I will actually be dedicating all the clips to the CHB podcast and kind of just putting all of them on there for you guys to, of course, go and check out. Again, every time I release a podcast, I'm hoping that maybe 3 to 5 or so clips from that podcast can be taken out. I've got a lot of ideas for other people I want to talk about in this podcast, and in this clip I actually talked to Relly Hall, who is a fellow NBA YouTuber who is up on the rise at the time making this video. He has 1.5k subscribers, and one day could definitely have some of the most out of any NBA kind of YouTuber out there. So it was really good to kind of talk to him. I will be interviewing other people like this and making more podcasts with other people like this too. So if you guys enjoyed it, definitely let me know. But of course, if you haven't already, go and check out the full podcast and subscribe to my new channel, which I will all be linking in the description down below. But I guess without further ado, enjoy the clip. If we extend Sexton that $20 million, there's rumors we could sign and trade him. But I think going into the 2022 free agency, I honestly believe we definitely should target, this is the year we should target a star. And I think one player who has a pretty good connection with Darius Garland, who is really, really good friends with him, who I know will be a free agent this offseason, is Bradley Beal. I want to get your thoughts and opinions on potentially going after Beal and how you think he'd be good, if he'd be good for Garland and the Cavs.
That would be intriguing. That would be intriguing. If we could get Bradley Beal, that would be intriguing. Put Garland at that one. I feel like his true position, and give him a dynamic shooting guard in Bradley Beal. The only thing that would kind of make me wary of that, right, for Bradley Beal's point of view, is if he really want to still be on a team that's potentially rebuilding still. Even with the relationship with Garland, I think with his experience in Washington, you don't have John Wall now. They got rid of Russell Westbrook for whatever reason. I think Bradley Beal might be ready to contend. He barely got in the playoff last year with Russell Westbrook, right? And he had technically better success with John Wall, who was basically never there, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if Bradley Beal would okay it. I feel like for Washington's standpoint, they might do it because they might end up getting like Colin. They might get, they can get some legitimate assets back. They can get the assets they want, the 4 first-round picks. I can see Kobe Altman throwing scarily, but, but I just wouldn't I don't know, because I think Cleveland's in a situation I do agree. We should pursue a star, but we should not rush a star, right? Star. For us, we need a star who might not even necessarily be a star yet, but he's almost there, right?
Yeah.
So we need who's in that 22, 24 range, who's about to hit that. And I think Bradley Beal, we might have to pass, right?
Yeah, I kind of agree, to be honest. But when you said 4 first-round picks earlier, right? I think it would. I think it would be more of we just sign him for nothing because he is going to be a free agent, or if the Wizards want to be that team that says, all right, we'll give Bradley Beal more money, so he can get on that, bigger max or whatever, then I think they might look to ask the question of, could we maybe get, Colin Sexton and another player? But I don't really think they'll be pushing too much for first-round picks, if that makes sense. I think they'll just be kind of, trying to get whatever they can out of a player who's going to be a free agent. But is there anyone else in particular you maybe think we could go after in 2022? Because honestly, I don't think it really looks like too much of a free agency for players we should be going after. I really think if we're going to give money to someone, it needs to be a wing. It absolutely has to be. There is no other position we should be giving money to.
I agree with you. I think I would first because I know a lot of those players that was supposed to be free agents this next free agency, a lot of them extended. So what free agency, what free agents is available?
Dude, I don't even know. I remember Bradley Beal was the big one. If I search it up right now, Bradley Beal was definitely always going to... James Harden will be a free agent, which come on now.
Yeah.
That's just a dream. Kyrie as well, it's the same thing. And then you've got John Wall there, but everyone else they're pretty average. Like Westbrook is there, but then when you kind of move on from those, 5 players that I've just mentioned, the 6th next who's getting paid the highest amount this year is actually Gary Harris. So the list kind of gets, very, very thin. There's a couple other players here and there. Like if we're genuinely starving for a wing, I guess Joe Ingles is there. But dude, there's not really anyone. I think if there's going to be the only player we'll kind of target is mainly Bradley Beal, if I'm being completely honest. So it's not looking good for the Cavs. It's really not looking that good at all.
Then that means in that situation, that's where Kobe might have to take the New York Knicks approach, where they wasn't even they was looking at free agency, but they were just looking for which star was disgruntled. And whoever was disgruntled, that's who they traded for. That's who they're going to pursue because, like you said, I agree. We do need a wing because, honestly, and you touched on it too, I think Isaac Okoro need to get pushed at the shooting guard.
Yeah.
Because the last game I seen them put Isaac Okoro at the shooting guard is when we played Chicago, and Zach LaVine had a very tough night.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And Garland won. So I think if we can get a dynamic wing, right? A dynamic wing who can shoot, and it's, I know I'm going to say KD, but a KD tier player, you know, doesn't necessarily have to play defense, but he has to be a scorer. He has to be an MPJ. He has to be Kevin. And for Cleveland, and that's why I've always said, it's kind of hard for Cleveland because Cleveland is not a free agent attraction, right? So even when those big names, like you said, is in free agency, it's so hard for us to track it. And I know you can say sign and trade, but Bradley Beal would have to okay it because he's a restricted free agent. So even if they try to get the sign and trade, he would have to say, hey, I see this as a contender. And I don't think he sees Cleveland as, we haven't given him any proof that we're a contender.
That's maybe what we're going to do this season, to be honest. That's why I was thinking maybe a 35-win season wouldn't be the worst thing kind of out there because you can actually show players like Bradley Beal that we kind of mean business, similar to how, you touched on as well, the New York Knicks. They did that, last year or last season rather, where they showed, a lot of people that they could be a very, very good team in the NBA. And they didn't really manage to get anyone big, but they ended up bringing in players like Evan Fournier and, Kemba Walker. And wow, Fournier would have been a much better player for the Cavs to get, in my opinion, than Lauri Markkanen. So that kind of sucks that we couldn't get him. But in my opinion, full opinion right now, the Cavs should have their attention on Dillon Brooks and Cam Reddish. I think we got to trade for one of them. Both of those players would be perfect for the Cavs for 2 different reasons. Both can guard both, either wing position. But Dillon Brooks, if you're looking for shooting and a player that can create his own shot, but can also be mainly a catch and shoot player, Brooks is that guy. But if you're looking at, a dude that could have star potential maybe in the future, like maybe a Paul George, who was, some people thought could have star potential, and then he ended up growing into that on the Pacers. I think Cam Reddish is that guy. And I seriously think if we're going to trade for someone to give up a first-round pick, why not give up the 2023 first-round pick for Cam Reddish? So that's kind of my final thoughts,
And I respect it. That pick, that's intriguing because I don't like giving up picks, especially first-round picks, especially if you're Cleveland, because those could very well be top threes, and we can't afford to lose those picks. And like you said, Dillon Brooks, that he'd be a cool piece, but I'm really all in on Cam Reddish. I really think Cam Reddish would flourish in Cleveland because we're in an interesting situation because we do not have a franchise player yet, right?
Yeah.
Our system is not built around one player. We're literally because even if you look at the moves, what we're doing, man, we're literally seeing what worked, right? We're literally traded for anybody and everybody and saying, because we had Isaiah Hartenstein, for God forbid, I told people I didn't think he was staying here, but we tried it just to see, can we find another Kevin Love, younger and cheaper, right? Then we get, I'm assuming again, Larry Markin just to see, will this work? At that power forward position, right? Then I honestly feel like we got Rubio for the same reason. They just like, can we have another guard there other than Colin and Garland, and can we be effective, right? And I think they're in a situation where they're just trying a little bit of everything. And I think Cleveland, like, because of that, we gotta pursue players like Cam, right? We gotta pursue young players. We gotta pursue young players like Cam, either via like that or the draft. We gotta take chances.
Yeah.
And I think Cam is the one. I got my money all in Cam. Kobe Altman has to pursue that.
Well, could you imagine if, like, next offseason, let's just say we get a top 5 pick, right? Or, dude, I don't know if I want to say that because it's probably not realistic. We'll say a top 10 pick. If we can draft, like, a good wing in that draft and then bring in Cam Reddish and you bring in 2, like, really, really good wings, maybe one's a shooter and maybe one's Cam Reddish that can be, like, a really good shot creator in the NBA, then I don't think people could deny that we will have, like, a very good young core. Like, could you imagine that? Garland, Okoro, Reddish, Mobley, Allen, Markkanen, that young wing, and maybe Sexton, if we keep him, that could be, like, 8 really, really solid young players. Or maybe if they get rid of Sexton, maybe they bring in another good young player back in. I'm not too sure how the Cavs are going to go about it. The way Kobe Altman kind of seems to be going about this is whoever wants to come to Cleveland at this point, like a dude like Lauri Markkanen, just why not? Let's try them and see how they go. But like you said, Ricky Rubio, I think Ricky Rubio will be perfect for the Cavs because I feel like we really needed a point guard off the bench to play some defense, but also that can still play make without having to take, the shots away from, like, maybe Garland or Sexton or players like Kevin Love and Markkanen who will still be there to maybe create their own shots a little bit, but predominantly be some more catch and shoot type players. That's why I think Ricky Rubio is perfect because he's almost like, he's like a 10 times better player than Matthew Dellavedova, who kind of played a little bit better towards the end of the season. But yeah, I kind of knew we weren't going to be keeping Dally. I knew that he was going to be interested in going to the NBL. He actually signed with Melbourne United, which weirdly enough, that's where I live. I live in Melbourne. So yeah, I might get to go see Matthew Dellavedova play, which will be pretty cool. But yeah, bringing in Rubio over Dally, that's a W,